How did a country that was on the verge of collapsing become Asia's #1 country? This is the success story of the tiny island of Singapore. From being a third world country to one of the most powerful Asian countries in just a few decades, Singapore's rise to the top is all because of one man's commitment. In today's video, we'll be covering how the country rose from the ashes and soon became a global force, all because of their commitment to their citizens and the relationship with its allies. Their history began as one of many British colonies spread out throughout the globe. In 1963, Singapore and Malaysia combined to form the Federation of Malaysia after breaking away from British rule. But Malaysia didn't want to accept Singapore, and soon, violence and street riots started spreading like wildfire. Eventually, the Malaysian parliament expelled Singapore. This is when father of the nation, Lee Kuan Yew, dreamt of creating a safe haven for all, where one's nationality takes precedence over their race, religion, or ethnicity. It wasn't easy. Singapore had to overcome its geographic disadvantages and establish itself as a leader in international trade by embracing globalization, free market capitalism, education, and practical policies. Ask anyone, and they'll tell you that MPH, or meritocracy, pragmatism, and honesty is the key to Singapore's success. First, they chose the most qualified people to lead the country. Then, no matter what anyone's belief is, if it worked, they'd use it. That's pragmatism, the second pillar of Singapore's success. As a country, they were all quite practical, whether it was to adopt some capitalist and some communist ideologies, or even mix them to make something work in their favor. Particularly in a third world country, the hardest quality to develop is honesty. Corruption is largely to blame for the decline of third world states. So after Lee Kuan Yew was appointed prime minister, he made it a point to state that nobody was above the law. That is the one crucial component contributing to Singapore's outstanding success. Now, after the separation from Malaysia, a good chunk of the population was unemployed. Singapore needed to develop a strategy, and fast. The traders brought in business from abroad because it was difficult for them to conduct any business in Southeast Asia due to territorial disputes. That marked Singapore's new beginning. By the way, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any latest news. They had to develop an environment that was secure, free of corruption, and tax-friendly in order to entice investors. International investors found the nation's business-friendly policies to be particularly alluring. And by 1972, Japan and the United States had invested significantly in 1/4 of Singapore's manufacturing companies, which were either foreign-owned or joint ventures. The result? In 7 years, the country's GDP increased by double digits. Right now, it's at $473.79 billion US. That's a massive change from their record low of $0.70 billion in the 1960s, right? With the influx of foreign investment capital, Singapore began to expand its human resources as well as its infrastructure. They made a wise choice in hiring international expertise to train the workforce. The island nation established a large number of technical colleges and paid foreign firms to teach their unskilled labor force in areas like electronics, petrochemicals, and information technology. Those who were unsuccessful in landing manufacturing positions entered other industries, such as travel and transportation. Slowly, Singapore also started exporting textiles, apparel, and electronics by the 1970s. And by the 1990s, they excelled in things like logistics, pharmaceuticals, biotech research, integrated circuit design, and aerospace engineering. Singapore became the top country in Asia and is still a huge global financial and commercial powerhouse. In fact, it's currently considered as having one of the best healthcare and educational systems in the world. Would you believe that it's smaller than the state of Rhode Island? And even though it's small, it's home to more than 6.2 million people and plays a major role in regional and global events. 5 million people from 4 major ethnic groups live here, including Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Eurasian. Since achieving independence on August 9, 1965, The country has operated under a parliamentary democracy system. It's a bustling metropolis with first-world infrastructure, a completely integrated island-wide transit system, a dynamic business environment, and lively residential areas. Plus, it boasts a vibrant culture thanks to 4 main communities living together in harmony. Each offers a distinctive viewpoint on the history, gastronomy, language, religion, and culture of the city and the state. Now, being able to move around easily is one of the factors that makes Singapore such a desirable location to live. That's apart from the charm of their housing, transportation, and political system. Without question, Singapore is a place where worlds meet. And let's not forget that the safety it offers is one of the things that many foreigners love most about living there. It's a huge aspect that can make or break communities. Some of the biggest cities and countries in the world aren't safe, but not Singapore, no. It's actually ranked among one of the safest in the world. Part of the reason why Singapore is so safe is because of the highly strict laws that keep people from committing even minor offenses like spitting, let alone theft. Liking the video so far? Drop us a thumbs up! What's more, they implemented a number of economic initiatives, not just to diversify their economy, but also to build infrastructure, entice foreign investment, and improve job prospects. The country also benefits from having a prime strategic location between the South China Sea and the Malacca Strait. More than 120,000 ships sail through the Malacca Strait each year, making it one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world, and it connects important economies like China and Japan. A number of industrial parks were established across the country, many of which are near the Jarun River Industrial Park. This allowed Singapore to concentrate on economic growth while still maintaining social needs. These industrial parks provided the physical infrastructure that enterprises needed to develop manufacturing operations such as power, water, and highway access. Along with building infrastructure, the government also devised a clever economic plan that gave businesses tax breaks for investing in sectors like manufacturing or technology, which in turn encouraged them to take chances, develop, and bring in foreign direct investment. And to boost labor mobility, they promoted internal movement and immigration. This shift encouraged more entrepreneurship and made it easier for local businesses to grow and join international markets. Even now, Singapore continues to entice global investors who respect its effective and stable economic climate. According to the World Bank's Doing Business Index for 2020, it has the second best global business climate. Singapore is praised for having a diverse population from all over the world and for having a wide range of racial backgrounds. Lee deserves praise for this as well because he was aware of the necessity of racial harmony in Singapore's multi-ethnic culture after witnessing the impact of ethnic violence in Malaysia in 1960. To promote social stability, the government created a number of laws including racial quotas in the housing industry and standards for racial representation in its government. Plus, they've managed to improve the general quality of life in a number of ways to become a more livable city-state. Nowhere else will you see this many pedestrian-friendly green spaces, well-maintained public transportation networks, and better roadways. By placing an emphasis on environmental goals, such as becoming one of Asia's top green cities, it has reduced pollution levels, proving how effective rules can motivate a city to transition to greener options. Lee also tackled their homelessness crisis, and public housing facilities were one of the first actions taken by the newly elected administration. Since it catered to practically the whole population and allowed people to pursue employment and skill advancement, this project was a huge success. Even today, public housing complexes house 80% of the population and were thoughtfully designed to house people from different socioeconomic and racial backgrounds. This promotes an atmosphere that encourages interpersonal harmony, preserving social stability, and makes it easier for immigrants to gel in with inhabitants of other nations. When it comes to allies, Singapore has to tread carefully between China and the US, as these opposing powers are who the small nation maintains close ties with. Singapore is currently a key strategic ally of the United States in Asia. and the two nations have developed particularly tight military ties. Regular joint military drills between the two militaries take place, and the U.S. Navy uses Singaporean naval bases to assist its Southeast Asian operations. On the other hand, Singapore's largest foreign investor is the United States, and Singaporean investment in the United States is thought to be responsible for 250,000 jobs in the country. They've also strived to establish cordial ties with China, but their interactions have occasionally proved challenging. China has made efforts in recent years to distance Singapore from its old ally Taiwan, which China views as a renegade state. Apart from that, the country maintains friendly ties with most countries and welcomes all to experience the Singaporean dream. You see, Lee Kuan Yew's vision for the country ended up becoming the thread that holds together the fabric of the nation, even today. They have their priorities straight and dive headfirst into combating issues. That's the marker of a successful country and how Singapore rose to the top to become Asia's #1 country. So, let us know in the comments below what you think about Singapore's success secrets. We'll see you in the next video.